listen to fall to the floor.
Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you that have seen some of my other videos, you might recognize this silver cardboard sleeve, which has absolutely no markings on it. A little bit banged up in transit from China, but I don't really care about what the packaging looks like. What matters is the pen. Very well protected in this little bit off-color silver box. Again, no labeling. The lid just pops up and we see a blue pen. You may recognize we have the tool here to disassemble the piston and two O-rings. I'm not going to take it apart, so I'm assuming those O-rings are the two O-rings that make up the piston. You may recognize it and you may not. It's a Caliarts 2. It doesn't have that nice swoopy clip that I like on the initial Caliarts, but I saw this pen at a pen meetup. One of the fellow pen nuts were there, and I thought it was beautiful. I mean, a really clean blue. The pen has been inked up, so there is now ink in here, or else you would see a continuous shade of blue from tip to tip. Just an unscrew cap. Takes about a little bit more than a turn to unscrew. And then we have our Caliarts nib in fine, and it is a fine nib. It is a clear feed, and as you can see, I got a nice blue ink in there. You really don't want to post this pen. It posts very high, it doesn't post very securely, and it posts on the piston turning knob, so the pen is quite a good size, so it fits well in the hand without posting. But I know some people like to have a place to put the cap other than just setting it like this on the desk. So we're going to take a look at the innards of the pen and then do some writing. Let's take a look at the Caliarts under sunlight. It's just a very interesting blue. Another injection molding indication there. It's also one on the bottom of the piston filler. See a little bit of the variations there in the acrylic, injection molded, obviously from all of those marks. But a very nice blue. One may ask, how does this Caliarts compare to the other Caliarts or some other recent Chinese piston fill pen? So here we have the blue Caliarts. We'll call it Caliart 2. Here we have a Caliart 1. It has that nice distinctive little clip design, which apparently is not done anymore. You notice, unlike the blue one, this one has the black piston filling gear in it. You still have your two O-rings there, which are in red. They're in red on the other clear Caliart too, but that one seems to be someplace else right now. Here's your Wingsung 3008, which is another classic, which I really like. So you notice the clear ones have a lot of facets in it, you know, a lot of detail that they've taken out of the Caliarts too. So they've really done some interesting things, I think. So if you look at a solid color 698, you'll also notice that this one still has a lot of bling on it, and that's really missing from the Caliarts. Neither of these two Caliarts have any cap rings on them, which seem to be fine. I have not had any cracking issues. So one of the discussions that have been going around is maybe the plastic materials that they use are a little bit better, a little bit stronger. Also, they might be cycling the mold a little bit slower, so You get a more cooling effect in the mold versus injecting it and letting it maybe cool too quickly, and that could provide some stress in the material, which then could end up cracking it. But that's going back to my materials engineering days. Here they are uncapped, and none of these are really pens that you would post. So let's take a look at the business end a little bit closer. So the two Caliarts have that pilot style nib, which is similar to the pilot style nib on the 698, but not quite the same. A little bit of differences in them. The 3008 has the Lamy style nib, or could be some of the Platinum pens also have that design. It's a much smaller nib. These sections here are pretty good. The Caliart's probably a good size, very similar in size to the 698, so if you're comfortable with the 698, you'd be comfortable with the Caliart. Also, you notice those ink windows, which they did a really nice job on the 698s to show that. You may ask, Chris, you say you flush every new pen that you get. How do you flush a piston fill? To me, you take the nib and the feed out, and you wash these in a soapy ammonia solution, wipe them down, rinse them in water, and you end up with something that's very clean, and if there's any residual manufacturing materials left there, they get cleaned out. So that's how you do it. So one of the things that I wanted to show was my trusty LED, is to show how the barrel might be transparent, and that looks pretty nice. Very obvious, no cap liner. It's obviously not obvious on how that finial is attached and how the clip is attached. If we look at the barrel, you can see the light shining through there, and it looks like the piston mechanisms are fairly transparent, so you don't get any of that black indications of a piston filler, and you can see there's that large opening there. Very consistent color. There's some darker blue striations there, but they're kind of minor. And the other thing that this shows is how the piston goes down and comes up easily. And you can see that opening there, that the piston mechanism is transparent. It's a very nice design. When I first saw this pen, I was impressed with it and decided to add it to my collection. So one of the things that I noticed that I wasn't happy with is there's some residual gate extensions there when this was injection molded. So I'm definitely going to clean those off. I didn't notice anything else in the pen. I'm certain those were overlooked for whatever reason. The other thing I wanted to do with this pen is I recently acquired some medium wing sung nibs, which go on the 698, but they're that pilot design with the little wing on the back, so theoretically they should fit on this pen. We're going to swap nibs after I ink it up and write with the first one, but you can see the medium wing sung is definitely more tipping material than the original one from the Caliarts. The nibs are branded Wing Sung and Caliart, so that's nice. So what blue am I going to put in? Should be quite obvious. A blue that I haven't used before. Get the mic cord out of the way. So this is a very clean blue. And a little bit of green there just before the intense blue, but it should look nice in the pen, and we'll give it a shot. Well, enough of that discussion and comparison and whatever. The pen feels nice in the hand. It's a nice feel to the plastic. You know, if you blindfolded somebody and you had them feel it and you asked them what type of pen it was, I don't think a Caliart would be the first one to come to mind, or a cheap Chinese pen, as some people might refer to these as. The pen fits fine in the hand. As I mentioned, it's not a pen that I would post because of how it posts to that piston knob, and you could turn the cap and eject ink. It's a fine point. No question about that. This is an interesting ink. I haven't put it in a pen before, but it looks like it has some interesting shading. It's certainly a light color of blue, this Robert Oster $10 blue. I have a nice 15 milliliter sample of it. So I would say the nib is medium wet, maybe medium dry. For an extra fine nib, it's fairly smooth. Without any pressure, it lays down a nice patch of ink, nice clean line. I think you can hear that it's pretty smooth. So overall, I like the way the pen looks. We're going to experiment now with a nib swap with my medium Wing Sung nib, which may not be a good fit, but we'll give it a shot. I did swap the nib. As you can see on the clear feed, the ink hasn't distributed itself well in the feed, so we're going to put it up and we'll notice how that ink kind of flows in there. You know, the nib is not a good fit, but I just want to see how this medium nib writes relative to the very fine nib that the Caliart came with. We'll give that a few minutes to saturate the feed, and then we'll put nib to paper. So I've put in the medium Wing Sung nib. That's about as good as the ink fills. I don't think this nib fits against the feed as well as it should, but we can still get some writing out of it and definitely see how this changes the characteristics of the pen and the ink. This is a little bit tricky. Probably wasn't a good idea to try this nib in this pen, but I'm certainly going to look forward to this in a 698, which is what it's designed to be in. And you can also see how the little bit wider nib really brings out even more the color of this ink. So you experiment sometimes, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. As you can see, when it does really write, and I can't really tell from the back of the feed exactly how that's going to be working, but it lays down a nice patch of ink. And the other thing that's nice about this nib, when it does put down ink, is it's pretty soft. You can see it spread, so it's going to be fun. We're going back to the other nib. I got the regular nib in here and it's back to writing consistently. So hopefully that little experiment didn't turn you off from, you know, maybe playing with your pens and seeing what you can do with different nibs. So thank you for watching. You know, explore the wonderful world of pens, inks, paper, and nibs. So until next time, enjoy pens, enjoy life. There, the feed looks saturated like I expect it to look. So you can see when the nib is in contact with the feed like it should, you get a nice consistent saturation there. Sorry about the skipping. It's not typical of this nib, so wonderful world of live TV.